Hey, we got guests coming in. See? We just want now, Dawn, if you want to kick it off. Oh, okay. And we want to be there for you to help you get through when life, who to talk to have their with. The only thing you would hear from me is when the teacher called my name, I go, here. Now, one teacher probably can remember me ever. So now I just fight and less physical now. Are walking in identity, what God has called me to be. That's the truth for me. And to continue to pursue purpose for me, which includes coaching and other variables. And the dream for us both is the Wisdom Lounge. And this is our bold promise. This is our bold step is the Wisdom Lounge. And all that God has kind of shown us how it's going to go from here. But who knows? He only shows you a little so that you can start moving, because Lord knows if he shows everything, I'll probably be like, yeah, I'm out. Never mind, my God. Too much. So here it is. This is our step, moving forward. So, Dawn, if you would like to. All right. Let's and here in person. Okay. I was out there. So you know? Ooh, wow, girl. see. No. And so that's how I'm excited about that. And I'm just excited about what we have and what God has opened up for us. Yeah. We're just really excited about that. So anybody in the room got two truths they would like to share? We can say it over the mic for you if you want. But no, you looking at me like, what? No. No. All right. Does anybody have any? Anyone? No? Nothing? Okay. You guys are just so.
I have one awkward kind of truth. It's only awkward because it's like where I'm going to be alone a lot because
you don't fit.
I think that what I'm about to walk into later, people got to try to prepare me to, but also a lot of other people don't get it. So it's like I feel like it's about to be a lonely walk.
Right? Yeah,
and I feel like sometimes it's a necessary thing, but it's also kind of like I don't always want to be alone. So it's like that's not.
So someone in the audience shared their one truth, and that is what she believes God is preparing her for is that she's going to be pretty much having to be okay with being alone. And with that, another way I would say it is being okay with God protecting you. Because that aloneness, and God will make you, my prayer is that you won't feel lonely in your journey, but being okay with being alone and being okay with who God puts in front of you. You're gonna look down the line and you're gonna hear all these crazy stories of people who got connected and they're gonna tell all their stories and you be like, oh God, thank you. Oh God, thank you. So there's some crazy stuff out there right now. There's some crazy stuff out there. So, and speaking of crazy, not crazy like that, but just, out the world. Parallel story. Right.
I have family here, something here. My career, and interestingly enough, how God works with me. My job ended up coming to me um, in Charleston and asking me if I wanted to move to Houston. Now, my daughter had just moved to Houston. My daughter was in another place in Texas, but she's here now. And so, like, all those things lined you'll share your story.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. Yours was beautiful. Beautiful. Just beautiful. Beautiful story. Yours is so touching and dearing.
Stop it. Stop
So
it.
like heartwarming.
She gonna be ghetto. She from Louisiana. Louisiana.
No. I would just like to preference my story as,
Yours was interesting too.
yes, I would just like to preface my story and just start off by saying I did not hold auditions. Whatever character you chose to play in my story, you chose that character. So many times I was like reluctant to tell my story because I'm like, oh, I don't want to hurt anybody. Woo, 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 woo. I am still mindful of that, where I'm not here to pull off the Band-Aid or stab you in that wound again. I'm not here to do that. But I'm also not here to worry about and take care of who you were in that story. And just like I know I might have been a villain in somebody else's story. When it so happened, you were a villain in my story. So here we go. Well, again, just like Dawn, I think they was married much longer, but I was married for 12 years. Same with us. My husband and I, we were pastors in, we have, our church was in Louisiana and we ended up going to Missouri. So we pastored International Harvest Center for several years together. And that was a great journey. But unfortunately, I had to come to a hard stop in my life due to there was a lot of psychological and emotional abuse that I was like, I don't think I'm going to go into my 50s with this. Like, yeah, you took 39 through 40, but we're just not going to do this going into my 50s. I was like, I'm just not going to have this stress. So I just made the hard decision that this was not going to work, because over the years, what I didn't realize, I just thought I did a lot of things for the sake of peace. I did a lot of, and looking back now, back that thing up, son, back that thing up. I realized then I basically had checked out my marriage, because what I was doing was saying, do whatever. Like, there were decisions that would be made, things that would happen, and because I just, for the sake of peace, and that was my mind thought, was for the sake of peace, I'd be like, whatever, do whatever, I don't care, do whatever. So, and on the other side of that do whatever meant, oh, she's in agreement. So I'm just gonna blow up our lives together. I'm just gonna make all these crazy, harsh decisions. Okay, and Angela will come along, because guess what? I came into the marriage broken, not realizing I was broken, but I came into the relationship broken, so I was the fixer. So that's why I realized, that's why I attracted that particular personality, because I'm the fixer. Of course I can make it better. Of course I can straighten out our entire mess. Of course I can jump on top of this grenade and keep our whole family from blowing apart. Of course I can do that and mend myself back up, and no problem. Well, I said no more of that. No more of that, because I think the straw, one of the straws that broke the camel's back, and there were so many straws, and there's so many camel's backs got broken, so many of them. So, but one of the things that happened is I was also taking care of my mom, who her health was failing as well. But I felt like I was living, but I felt like I was actually digging. Like, I just like, this is what a zombie is. This is what a zombie really is. Like, I'm here, I'm existing, but nobody really, it's like every part of me, every part of my personality had to die. It's like I had to shrink in order for this person to be comfortable in our space. So everything about me had to shrink. And so I thought I was doing what was right for the marriage, and more than anything, for our family. Who wants to break up your family? I had already gotten married. My son was 18. My daughter was in middle school or junior high. So I'm thinking I'm breaking this generational curse off our family. I'm not going to just walk away from marriage just because I don't feel right about it. My heart was, my children is going to have a 2-parent household and know what that feels like. Well, I felt like a disappointment, because now I can't keep this up. I can't keep going. And when I finally talked to my children and told them my decision, they were like, well, my son didn't say anything. He just wanted to make sure I was okay. My daughter was like, well, I didn't want to say anything, But I'm glad, you know, Kira, I'm glad because all I saw, she said, because before you got married, we was rich. I was like, we were not rich. We were not rich, Kira, but we were good. We were good. We were good. But with that, once she got through being Kira, she came to this moment where she was like, Mom, because I actually saw you shrink. She said, I saw you shrink. That broke my heart. Because what I thought I was putting before my daughter was to see submission, was to see someone who was submitted, who would do what she needed to do for her family. But what she saw is someone shrinking to so someone else can feel comfortable. And so I just, that just brought me to tears. But I knew, but she didn't know any of this till after I had made my decision. One thing I did not include anybody in my decision making because I didn't want anybody to be blamed for it. So, but with that, my daughter, when she saw that, she said she saw me shrinking again. That broke my heart. But the other thing about that is now I'm at a place in my life where I'm not shrinking back for anyone. If my space makes you uncomfortable, love you with the love of Christ, serve God, Lamb of God, go on your way. Right. I am no longer shrinking back for anyone else to feel comfortable because that fixer in me, she's dead. Because that was the one thing I remember telling my spouse before I walked out. I said, the woman that you're looking for, she's dead. Jezebel is dead. Because many times we think about Jezebel and her being controlling, manipulative, and all that. But Jezebel was also a fixer. Yeah. She fixed everything for her husband. Right. She took care of business. Right. And I'm glad that I'm that girl that look. We're gonna ride this thing out, and this gonna happen. We're gonna make whatever needs to happen. But I'm no longer jumping in because I don't need the superhero cape anymore. And so that's when I let him know, who are you looking for? She's dead. She shall not be resurrected. And that was that. And so now we're here.
We're here
with our bold dreams. Wisdom Lounge. So that's my story, and that's what brought me here. And as Dawn and I was talking, we realized she was where she was, going through the same thing. And then I had to deal with that whole thing. And I'm still not fully there at the fact of when God is going to start to use me in being a pastor again. But even that was a journey where I allowed people to beat me down in their religious space so that he could shine. You step back and you just do what, and not so much as they did it, but I did it. Because I felt like I stepped back and I stopped saying Pastor Angela. I just say I stopped introducing myself as anything like that within the religious realm, period. And I would just always say Angela. I would just always give you my name, because saying that, if someone introduced themselves, could reach out to me and say, hey, Pastor Angela, blah, 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 he will let you know I'm the pastor. Yes, I'll deal with you when we get home. But anyway, but I never disrespected him publicly. And there were times when people would be like, girl, trust me, publicly, no, I will always cover you. But you can't show them bruises later. Go ahead.
I told you.
I'm sorry, y'all. I'm just playing. But so that's my heart and my passion is to help people through rejection, because all of that, no matter how positive I was about myself, no matter how much I love myself, there was still a seed of rejection there. Because the fixer, why are you needing to fix everything? Because we want to be liked, we want to be accepted. So God has healed me for rejection, and that's my call. That's what God has called me to help people through. Like I physically used to fight, but now I teach you how to fight. Go ahead.
No. So you're absolutely right, because that projection, a lot of our patterns that we walk in subconsciously have to deal with how we were developed in our home structure. Mm-hmm. Like for me, I had that same pattern. I'm not the oldest daughter. Me and my oldest sister are 10 months apart. But she was very, very quiet. So quiet that like if you were young then to ask her name, she wouldn't say anything. So I would do the talking for her. Mm-hmm. So that's where my pattern came in. I didn't realize the depth of that pattern until my story imploded, right? Of being the fixer, being the doer, being the here, let me get this for you, let me handle this for you, oh, I can get this. And I don't know that I was necessarily looking for affirmation, but that's the pattern that formed in me that became subconscious, right? And so I had to learn through the cycle of doing my own work on me, how to fix that, how to have the necessary conversations that I needed. And I also had some abusive situation, not with my spouse, but when I was younger, that also impacted me. And so helping me face my own giants made me become stronger. And to know, like for me, when I was going through mine, it was having the necessary conversations that I probably wouldn't have had because I'm like, I don't want to deal with this right now. Right? So learning how to do it, but learning how to do it from a mature space. And whether the person liked it or not, it didn't matter. This is where I'm at. And so, you know, it really grew me up. For me, it was like, I remember the first time that in my brain, it was like, oh, wow, I could see the sky again. Because it was just like all that cloud and that shower, you know, because a lot of times you internalize that stuff and you don't tell anybody. But even when you internalize it, you're speaking to yourself.
Exactly.
And the greatest person we typically believe is ourselves. So what if yourself is not healthy?
That part.
And you don't know it? So I would look through every experience and say, okay, what am I supposed to learn out of this? Because I don't want to do this again. So I want to get my lesson, because the lesson not learned will be repeated at the next level. I don't want to do this no more. And so it was tough. You know, I was concerned about my children as well, because we were pastors, like I said, as well. They grew up in the church with us and all of that. And then not only did it happen for me, but it also happened for the church members. The day my spouse left, he closed down the church too. And I didn't know about it. So the members were looking for me, and I'm in a state of shock myself. So they were still connecting with me. They were still, you know, saying, hey, this, that, the other. I'm trying to figure out what my life is going to be like, because the whole thing blew up. Concerned about my kids, but I knew I wanted to walk through it healthy so that I can give them a pattern that they can follow if they choose to. And so it made me stronger. It made me more self-aware about myself. And I changed so many people. I mean, I came out so much in different spaces. No, I'm good with that, because the way that I was trained was I managed everything pretty much. So then God gave me a slogan that's not mine to manage. Stop and ask yourself when you're doing something. Is this mine to manage? Did they ask me to manage? And so I learned a lot. So it's a very empowering space. But hey, it's necessary. I am who I am today. I walk in who I am today because of that. So it was a long journey, but it was good.
So with that being said, we definitely came out on the other side of this stronger, better, confident. So now, because our beautiful tagline is live boldly and create your next chapter. We're going to create this next chapter, because 50 was good. 50 it started off good. I was like, oh, I'm going 50 with a bang. I'm single now, and all I like to do is go to the movies. That's it. Just like going dancing, going to the movies. I love my company. I love me some me. I can stay by me all the time. I love me some me. So I was ready. But little did I know that, bam, I was going to hit this brick wall. Because everything just was new. I was in peace. Like, my life was in peace. My mom had came here with me. She was, unfortunately, I had to put her in a nursing home because I couldn't take care of her anymore. But I was at the nursing home every day to make sure I visit her. She was doing good, and everything. Like, life was awesome. And then all of a sudden, I hit this brick wall. Little did I know that I had to face the fact that all, like you were saying, all the stuff that I had internalized, I didn't realize I internalized it. I didn't realize all those negative things that were said to me, like if we hit a snag in any part of our relationship, somehow it became my fault. It was something I was not doing that caused whatever we were going through. And although I would rebuff that, I didn't realize I was still taking that in, because now when I'm now on my own, I'm faced with all these things I heard. Even though at home I'm fighting back, but God showed me that wasn't legal language that I was using. An argument is not legal language, so it still allowed it to go in here, and it took me up until I want to say through all the process, but I really found my freedom November 2024. From 2022 to 2024, I felt like I was in hell, like in this pit. What else, God, can you take from me? What else need to be beating me down? I just felt like I'm done. And the only thing I remember saying out loud, and I didn't realize I said it out loud. I was thinking it, but I didn't realize I said it out loud. And my kids was in the same room. Is I said, God, where can I go and just die? Like, I'm not gonna hurt myself, but I'm like all I can see, my visual was, you know how they used to take a dog to the woods and they just, whatever happened, and it's done. Like, you let them go, they can't really fend for themselves out there. I was like, where can I go? I don't want to do anything. My kids find me and blah, 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 make it worse for them. But I was just done, because I did no longer trust myself to make any decision, because it wasn't just about getting a divorce. But now I'm second guessing, how did I get caught up in a divorce? How did I make this decision? So now I can't move forward on anything because I don't trust nothing I make a decision on. Nothing.
Right.
So that was a lot of work.
It was. You brought up divorce. So in mine, had every reason to divorce, but God told me no. I'm like, what? What? But I learned through my journey of staying, I developed. Meaning, He wanted me to develop through that process, to learn the language I needed to know, to find out what was in me, and to begin to sharpen those skills at a whole other level. And so that was really crazy to me. I'm like, now what? No, why? What? But I said, okay. So it's obviously something you want me to learn regardless. So that's why my focus, just my anchor pretty much for me, was learn the lesson. Was it crazy ups and downs through that whole time? Absolutely crazy ups and downs. But I was so focused on growing that I didn't really have to say I'm a different person. Everybody pretty much in my family saw the evidence of that. My conversations changed. My conflict resolution grew. Because I'm not really a screamer, hollerer, and yeller. But hey, I'm about solving problems. So if we're not going to solve the problems, that's cool too. But I'm going to let you know this is where I stand. So for me, that was really, really crazy to me that occurred that way. But looking back now, I understand why. Because He was trying to grow the little girl in me. The way He told it to me is, okay, I'm reaching my hand out to you. It's time for the little girl to grow up. And I'm like, what? Yeah. And then the lessons just started coming. Yeah. So, yeah, it was some challenging times, but I'm so glad for both of us. Not only did we survive, but we grew and we thrived. And now we can look at who we are now and be like, oh, man. Yes. So. And loving her even more. Yeah. Every day. I love her. Every day. And speaking of that, when you mentioned, we're gonna go right into our core values. But before we do that, I want to open the floor up again to anyone now. I understand it's not. You may not have a divorce. You're definitely not empty nesters in here, except maybe one or two. No one else in here is an empty nester. So. But we all have a place in our life where there's a restart, because that's really what a lot of this is about. Everyone has not everyone, but many of you may have experienced that moment in your life when you had to restart something. You had to, whether it's like, you know what, I'm going back to school. You know what, I'm gonna start a new career.
I know for me moving here, this was a restart I did not expect. I did not expect at 50 years old that I was going to be single again. And Lord, let's not talk about that. But nevertheless, let me get
that's a
back
whole topic
in.
for another day.
I never thought I would be single again. Never having to relocate my life. Just basically everything about my 50s, I had to start everything over. Everything. And so with that, anyone, are you in a place where you like or experience that restart and you're saying, yeah, it's not looking the way that I thought it was supposed to look. Like my life is not where I thought I was supposed to be restarting this right now. Anyone, feel free. We got someone speaking. I will share it.
Yes, for me, restarting, I've been divorced a long time ago, but my life is so wrapped up into my children and grandchildren.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, people ask me what I like to do. It was always something about my kids or my grandkids, but I had to realize it was more to me than my children.
Yeah.
And that part of stepping out of that was the hardest thing for me.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm still dealing with it, but God is requiring so much more.
Mm-hmm.
And my children, they're good. I got grown grandkids, they're good. So the starting over and being okay with starting over.
Yeah.
Because it's like I always want to be available for their call. They don't really need me. But
Yeah.
it's, just that being there.
Mm-hmm.
But but now I realize, hey, I can be me.
Yeah.
I can be available. I can
Yeah.
be vulnerable.
Yeah.
I can be open. I
Yeah.
can be so close. And it's like I was closed off to everything else. I was good.
Mhm.
Right? That was the safety.
Yeah.
Good. But now I'm being able to open up and be more, and I can see my vision's clear.
All right.
Yes.
It's like clear vision. I can see clearly now. Okay. Y'all know I'll sing in a minute. I didn't say I know how to sing,
You stayed on key right there, though.
but I shall sing. Okay. Okay, Dawn, let's bring us into our core values.
Our core values is
Because all the stuff we've been through.
right,
This what it boils down
right,
to what we want to do with Wisdom Lounge.
right. So our
Okay.
core values is discovering purpose, which we kind of talked about a little bit, right? Discovering purpose, and you rediscovering your passions and defining your goals for life. How does that look? All of those empowerment, which that is giving you tools and equipping you with tools or strategies. Part of those tools is it's a kit of tools that will help you maybe reset your thinking, reset your mindset, how conversations, how the framework of language can go in conversations and how to navigate it. So all of those things.
Okay, are y'all a craft lab?
No.
No. Okay.
Where's the crafts? I'm sorry.
That was my name.
Well, we're sorry. But we can reset, right?
We can reset. Because that's what we're all
That's
about.
what we're about. Reset. So helping give you the confidence, the tools to thrive and survive in your space, or sometimes it just may be just to listen
Yeah.
and just to know that you're not alone in situations. Between the combination of both of our families individually, I promise you, we probably got every story that could be made to mankind that we've experienced.
Yeah.
And so it's really about being there and helping you to become a person of resilience.
Yeah.
That's one of the things I learned about me when I mapped back my story. Wow, all these things happened and I didn't have it, but I knew I had to keep going. So I did whatever, even if it was unhealthy in some spaces, but that quality is there. And I think that's a missing trait that women do not tend to tap into. Like men, they get up, they fall, they do. Women kind of sit there in a little bit, and it's probably because of the emotional piece. So help you be resilient and to let you know that you can get through life's challenges.
Yeah.
There's nothing you can't get through. If you're in it, then you can win it.
Yeah.
And so that's the perspective to help you recover and to also cultivate community. which is what, that is one of the biggest chores that we do
Yeah,
automatically without
absolutely.
thinking about it.
Absolutely.
Like really wanting you to know you're not alone, that you don't have to do life by yourself, and you have a safe space. You have a safe space. We gonna love you. We gonna help you through. How that looks, and that's what we're here for.
Yeah.
That's our passion.
And so I'm gonna take it from a different angle.
Okay.
Going through because this is coach. She's ready to coach you right now. She's ready to coach you right now. But just also of it just being personally
Just
our values or what we holding on to, because it's all about purpose. It's like once God has shown me my purpose, because that was the thing where I was like, what am I here for? At the time I was taking care of my mom, my children, my husband. It was like everything, but I had no idea what I was doing. And especially even while I was in church, I was busy. Like if you say who needs something, I know how to do it. I can do it. And then one day I heard God so clearly say, stop. And he said it so clearly 3 times, like stop. And I heard him say, stop being busy and be purposeful. And of course that became my t-shirt too, but anyway. But I heard that so clearly where I had to go to my pastor at the time and let him know, and let both of them know at the time that I had to back away from some things. And he had also gave me a dream around that same time. But I had to let them know, and the dream was very clear, like take my hands off some things. Well, the pastor at the time, she was like, you don't think it means something else? No, it don't mean that. I know what it means. But anyway, I was like, no. But I had to let her know that I had to stand on what I believe God was saying. And that's what he was telling me, that I was so busy, but I was not purposeful. So that is a passion for me. I'm not here to help you find it, but we can help you discover it. And I'm big on cultivating purpose. I'm big on cultivating. Now, once you know what it is, go for it and let's cultivate that thing. Don't play around with it, because one thing about purpose is it keeps you on track. A lot of times people will be like, I don't know how to let go of this person, and I don't know how to get rid of this person. Stay on purpose. Right. Purpose, you ain't got to say a word.
Don't get weeded out.
You stay on purpose, they just drop off. Right. It's like the word. The word say it'll draw you or drive them. So stay on purpose. When you're focused, people just fall away from you. It'll be nothing bad that happened. Nobody said nothing bad. You see each other again in the grocery store. Girl, I've been meaning to call you. Girl, that's all right. I've been thinking about you too, and you keep on moving. It don't have to always be something bad that calls you, but if you stay on purpose, and I'm big on empowering, just like each one of you guys who came here to support us. If you know me, you know I'm all about, okay, thank you for supporting me, thank you for coming. Now what you gonna do? Because I want to be able to support you, and if you say I'm called to do this or I'm about to do this, I'm gonna be okay. When you gonna get started? Because it's not just about helping me do what I do or helping us do what we do, but if we're community, because that's another thing that we're big on, community. If we're a community, then we all should be thriving. We should all have something, and all you gotta say is Angela. And the only way I tell you, the only way I can, it absolutely has to be no way that I can do it before I tell you no, because I know that you got my back, and that's a big thing to me. To know that somebody has my back, I'm gonna always have your back. So community is big. Resilience. I love the word, but also as African Americans, I hope we don't always live there as being resilient and strong. Sometimes rest too.
Isn't it?
Sometimes, and resting in the quietness, because we are trained, we are conditioned to keep pushing, keep moving, keep going. Sometimes, girl, just rest.
Well, part of true resilience is resting.
Yeah, yeah.
And I think a lot of times we think about like just physically, but emotionally.
Your mind.
Right?
Yeah.
You got a lot, it's been a crazy day, you've gone through experiences, that stuff can kind of live in you as you go to sleep and you wake up and you got crazy dreams and then your emotions are all over the place. And I think particularly for African American people that we have not been trained, modeled. We've not seen that modeled well.
Yeah.
So that is definitely something we keep each other accountable on when we're in our conversations and I hear her talking, she's told me some stuff. I'm like, No, you need to rest. Cut that off, do all of that, and go get your rest, because that's where we build ourselves up.
Yes.
And I think, again, as African American, we're so conscious about other people and doing this for them. But do that same, give yourself that same grace.
The same
give that
grace.
self your same space.
That's it.
Okay, so if today you don't want to do nothing but watch your favorite TV show all day,
Which y'all
it
do.
ain't like you ain't doing nothing and you lazy. What are you doing? You're feeding yourself. You're
Yes.
saying, I matter. And if I matter to that significance
Yes.
and to that degree, you're saying, I matter, then you're putting yourself number one, which is great, because you're filling your cup up so
Absolutely.
that you can have to give out in a good, clean space.
Absolutely. Well, Dawn, I think this was a good
I think
conversation.
it was.
We talked about our core values. We gave our intro to who we are, how we landed here, how we got into this space. Some was it was a little up and down, but we made it. We made it. So before we get ready to close out, what are some ways where people can reach you? Any projects that you're working on? Tell the people how they can
Tell
find you.
the people how they can
Tell
find
the people.
Well, I'm on Facebook, Dawn Cutler. Butler, but with a C. And then I'm on Instagram, Agent of Change.
Okay.
Just on the change part, take out the A. So it'll say Agent of Change, but you won't see that A. And so you can reach out. I got some exciting things that I'm getting ready to get into. Like I said, I'm getting ready to get back into my coaching space and go through that and launching things. And then we have a lot of things that we're going to do.
Yes.
Just not the podcast, but create spaces for people as well. And so I'm gonna keep living. I'm gonna keep thriving. I'm gonna keep being resilient, like you are. So I'm excited about that.
Absolutely. And same here. You can find me on all the social media platforms, Angela Wheatley. And I think I had switched it because they had another Angela Wheatley. And I don't like being number 2 or other. So we ain't gonna put no 2 behind it. It's not gonna be no other Angela. So I put Angela 1.0. That's who I am. So you'll find the Angela 1.0. And what else? We have, again, I just got my certification for recovery coach. And I like to let people know recovery is not just about the addiction, because that's how it was introduced into the world. But recovery is recovery is recovery. You could be recovering from a bad relationship. You could be recovering from so many other different things that we could be recovering from, and those principles still apply. So you'll start seeing more and more information about my recovery coaching and how that's going to look. And for me, I know the biggest part is helping people with confidence, and because we don't like to hear the word rejection, so I'll just take that out and cue it up for you. But that's what we're dealing with, underline. So, but yeah, because I like to come in hard and just hit it. But then the people who talk about advertisement, someone like Jordan, who's in marketing, they'll be like, no, don't say that word, use this word. So I'm going to listen to them and do what they say. But in the end, it's coming in for rejection. So those are the things that we're working on, that we're working on. Like you said, we got a lot of other things that we're going to come up with. And y'all going to be seeing some of our lifestyle, because I'm going to learn that dance, where the fans at. Bam, bam, bam. Yeah, I'm going to learn that. But no, we're just going to get out here and we're going to get out here and start living. But I am so happy that we officially got in front of the camera together to make this thing happen. But more than anything, I'm glad that you all came out here with us. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Stuart.
And thank you for our online audience.
Yes.
Thank you for everyone who's listening. And go back and catch the replay and share it with somebody else. So, but we will be dropping our official Wisdom Lounge podcast. It's going to be April. I'm going to shoot for the 12th just to be safe. And then from there, we'll let you know consistently where you can find our podcast and what dates and what times and all those things. So thank you so much for joining us, and thank you guys.